Convalidation. The validation of an irregular marriage by a priest or a deacon. I know people who have eloped, had civil marriages, and some were married in other churches, but their present marriage isn't recognized by the Catholic Church. I have heard of a procedure called convalidation that might allow them to validate their present marriage. Could you explain what convalidation means and how it applies to those who marry outside the church? There are many Catholic couples who attend Mass, enroll their children in religious education classes, and appear to be members of the church in good standing, but their marriages are irregular. Church law requires baptized Roman Catholics to marry in the presence of a priest or a deacon. In some cases, a dispensation for this requirement is given. If married without a dispensation by a minister, civil official, or captain of a ship, the marriage is considered to be spiritually invalid by the Church. In 1981, Pope John Paul II addressed this issue in an apostolic exhortation called On the Family. The Pope pointed out that each case needs to be examined on a case-by-case basis. If a pastor becomes aware of an invalid marriage, he should approach the couple in a tactful and respectful way to determine if and how their marriage can be validated. Perhaps it would be best to examine a case or two. Alex and Mary Elizabeth are both Roman Catholics and were about to get married when a number of family problems occurred. Mary Elizabeth came from a big family and she was the only girl. Her parents were in favor of her upcoming marriage to Alex, but the pressures of arranging the marriage was believed to be the cause of Mary Elizabeth's mother's heart attack. When Alex graduated from college, he took a job in San Francisco, but Mary Elizabeth and both of their families lived in the Los Angeles area. They only saw each other for a few hours per week. Mary Elizabeth drove to San Francisco on a weekend. Both she and Alex agreed to elope to Reno, Nevada, and the hoped-for result would be a lessening of tensions in their families. By the time they told the pastor about the elopement, they had been married for 10 years. The pastor was very surprised because they and their children were full parish participants who regularly attended Mass and other church functions. Fortunately, this situation would be easy to fix. Both Alex and Mary Elizabeth needed to get copies of their baptismal records and complete a standard marriage investigation prenuptial form. The actual exchange of vows and convalidation took place at the main altar after a Saturday night Mass. They chose to have only members of their immediate family attend. Most convalidations are not that easy, as in the case of Jacob and Anne. Jacob was Jewish and entered into a marriage that only lasted a year. He and Anne, a Catholic, fell in love. She became pregnant and they married at the county clerk's office at City Hall. Anne's mother tried to get them to convalidate their marriage and get the child baptized. Neither Anne nor Jacob, who was now attending the Catholic Church after his RCIA program and baptism, had any objection to the baptism of their child, but he was worried about the convalidation process, which would involve a nullity, commonly known as an annulment of Jacob's first marriage. Wait a minute. Jacob is a Jew who married in the synagogue. Why does he need a Catholic annulment? To make sure that he is free to enter into a marriage with a Catholic. The application for the annulment was a slow process because Jacob really didn't want to think about his first marriage, but in time the application was completed and an annulment was granted. With that out of the way, a big church wedding was planned on the anniversary of their civil marriage. The most interesting barriers for not validating marriages come from the couples themselves, not the church. Just because you have been married outside the church isn't a barrier to the peace of mind, the oneness with the church that you will experience once God's grace blesses your marriage and family. These were but two examples of irregular marriages. It is important to recall what Pope John Paul II said. Each case needs to be examined on a case-by-case basis. If you are in such a situation, speak to your priest or deacon, and they can help you through the process of convalidation.